This call is now being recorded.
Okay, so we are now on the second method of finding tests. We have the Bayesian tests. I'm going to read the introductory part of this. So hypothesis testing problems may also be formulated in a Bayesian model. So recall from section 7.2.3 that a Bayesian model includes not only the sampling distribution, we have here the joint distribution, but also the prior distribution of our parameter theta, where theta is considered as random. So we have there pi of theta. So where the prior distribution reflecting the experimenter's opinion about the parameter theta prior to sampling. So the Bayesian paradigm prescribes that the sample information can be combined with the prior information using Bayes' theorem to obtain the posterior distribution of our parameter theta. So we have now the conditional distribution pi of theta given our sample x. So all inferences about theta are now based on the posterior distribution. Okay, so let me continue. In a hypothesis testing problem, the posterior distribution may be used to calculate the probabilities that the null h sub 0 and the alternative hypothesis h sub 1 are true. So remember that the posterior distribution pi of theta given x is a probability distribution for a random variable. As I have said a while ago, that in this case, for the Bayesian paradigm, our random variable is the parameter theta. So hence the posterior probabilities, say the probability that our theta is an element in the null parameter space given our sample, will be equal to the probability that the null hypothesis is true given our sample. And the probability that our theta is an element in the alternative parameter space or the complement of the null parameter space given x will be just equal to the probability that our alternative hypothesis h1 is true given x and may be computed. The probabilities that the probability that the null is true given x and the probability that the alternative hypothesis is true given x, they are not meaningful to the classical statistician. So the classical statistician considers our theta to be a fixed number, yet unknown. Consequently, the hypothesis is either true or false. That is, if theta is an element of the null parameter space, then the probability that the null hypothesis is true given x will be equal to 1. And then the probability that the alternative hypothesis h of 1 is true given x will be 0. That is for all values of our sample x. But if our theta belongs, or an element of the alternative parameter space, which is the complement of the null parameter space, so these values are reversed. In other words, the probability that the alternative hypothesis is true given x will be equal to 1, while the probability that the null hypothesis is true given x will be equal to 0. So since these probabilities are unknown, since we know that theta is unknown yet fixed for the classical paradigm and do not depend on the sample x, so they are not used by the classical statistician. While in the Bayesian formulation of the hypothesis testing problem, so these probabilities depend on the sample. So the sample is fixed. What is varying is our parameter theta and can give a useful information about the veracity of our null hypothesis and alternative hypothesis. So one way a Bayesian hypothesis tester may choose to use the posterior distribution, okay? Because as has been said a while ago, that all inferences about theta are now based on the posterior distribution. So may choose to use the posterior distribution either is to decide to accept the null hypothesis or fail to reject the null hypothesis as true if we have here the inequality. We accept our null hypothesis if the probability that theta is an element in the null parameter space given our sample x would be greater than the probability that theta is an element in the alternative parameter space given x. Mas malaki yung probability natin when theta is in the null parameter space. So we accept our null. And to reject our null hypothesis otherwise. So in the terminology of the previous section, the test statistic, which is a function of the sample, we consider here the probability that theta is an element in the alternative parameter space given x. Okay, if it is in the alternative parameter space given x, then the rejection region that we're going to reject it will be the set of all x such that the probability of theta is an element of the alternative parameter space given x to be greater than 1/2. Okay, so alternatively it should be greater than 1/2, but we can choose a value greater than that. What's my pen? Here, greater than 1/2. Alternatively, if the Bayesian hypothesis tester wishes to guard against falsely rejecting, we falsely reject our null, he may decide to reject the null if these statistic, no? We have the probability that theta in the alternative parameter space given x would be greater than some large number, not necessarily a 0.5. So this tester would choose a 0.99, for example. So let's have an example to illustrate this test, the Bayesian test. Consider the normal Bayesian test. Okay, so we let x sub 1 up to x sub n be IID, normally distributed with mean theta, and the variance is equal to sigma square. And then let the prior distribution of our parameter theta, considered as random, be normally distributed with mean mu and variance tau square, where sigma square, mu, and tau square are known. And then we have here our test. Consider testing the null hypothesis that theta, the parameter theta, is less than or equal to theta sub 0 versus the alternative that h sub 1, we have theta greater than theta sub 0. So in our test, we have actually a one-sided test in which our null is a composite null hypothesis. There are a lot of value of theta satisfying this inequality. It's not a simple null hypothesis, but it's a composite null hypothesis. From example 7.2.16, we were able to determine the posterior distribution of our parameter theta. Okay, we update our prior by our joint sample distribution, and then we were able to get this posterior distribution, which is normal with mean. Okay, ito yung mean niya. So n tau square x square plus sigma square mu divided by the quantity n tau square plus sigma square. And the variance of this, we have sigma square tau square divided by the expression, the quantity n tau square plus sigma square. Okay, so if we decide to accept, so if you want to accept the null hypothesis, yung acceptance ng null hypothesis, no, we fail to reject our null hypothesis, is that the probability of theta in the null parameter space given our x should be greater than, because we want to accept it. No, we want to accept our null hypothesis. So that means the probability that theta, an element in the null parameter space given x, should be greater than the probability that our theta is an element in the alternative parameter space given x. So then we will accept the null hypothesis if and only if. Okay, we have that. No? The probability, ito yun. The probability that our theta is in the null parameter space given x. So we have here, yan, it should be greater than or equal to 1/2. Okay, so we accept our null hypothesis. Okay, since if we're going to look at our if we're going to look at our null parameter space, the theta is an element of the null parameter space. And what is our null parameter space here? That means all theta that is less than theta sub 0. So we just replace it by theta less than theta sub 0. Okay, so we have that. Therefore, the null hypothesis will be accepted as true if the sample statistic x bar would be less than or equal to theta sub 0 plus sigma square theta sub 0 minus mu over n tau square. To illustrate this, para maklaro ninyo, so to illustrate this, that our probability that theta is an element in our null parameter space would be greater than 1/2. Okay, greater than 1/2. This is if and only if. Okay, if and only if our theta sub 0 would be greater than, would be greater than the mean of the posterior distribution pi of theta given our sample, or sometimes it says here, or we have pi given theta given based on the sufficient statistic x bar. Pwede din ganun yun ang ating expression. O kung titingnan natin yung graph natin para maintindihan mabuti, say this is the graph of the posterior distribution, normally distributed. So we have a bell-shaped curve here. Bear with my drawing. Bell shape. So this is the mean of our posterior distribution. Alam dyan, nakita dyan. So this is our, sorry for that. So this is the graph. Parang consider natin the pi of theta given our sample x. That's the mean. Andun yung mean sa itaas, no? The mean of that posterior distribution. So the area here, obviously, itong area, i-shade natin ito. This area is equal to 0.5. The area of this region is 0.5. So yung probability that theta is an element in the null parameter space greater than or equal to 1/2, that means your theta sub 0 would be greater than would be greater than the mean of our posterior distribution. Kasi we have an additional, meron tayong additional area dito. So this area, kasali na to, the probability that theta is an element of our null parameter space greater than or equal to 1/2. So yan. Obviously, yung shaded region that refers to the probability would be greater than or equal to 1/2. So makikita natin sa graph na yung theta sub 0 is greater than the mean, okay? The greater than the mean of the posterior distribution. So kasi kung greater na siya, so that is, pwede natin may sulat natin dito, that theta sub 0 is greater than or equal to, ano yung mean ng ating posterior distribution? So we have here n tau square x bar plus sigma square mu divided by n tau square plus sigma square. Okay, so we have here n tau square plus sigma square. We multiply that by theta sub 0. This is still greater than or equal to. Okay, we have here n tau square x bar plus sigma square mu. And then if we're going to transpose the second term on the right-hand side, then we have here n tau square x bar would be less than or equal to. Okay, so we have here n tau square plus sigma square times theta sub 0 minus sigma square mu. Okay, so we're going to compute for our, dito na muna natin diretso, x bar would be less than or equal to, lagay natin, no? N tau square plus sigma square over theta square minus sigma square mu divided by n tau square. Okay, so pag i-distribute mo yan dito, and then divided by n tau square, obviously we have here theta. Tapos i-distribute mo yan dyan, and then common yung sigma square natin. So we can factor out sigma square, so may iwan theta sub 0 minus mu over n tau square. Okay, so this is the estimate of our statistic x bar. So the null hypothesis now will be accepted as true, based on our statistic. So kaya ito estimate lang naman ito. So this is now our statistic. We have now capital, no? The x bar here would be less than or equal to theta sub 0 plus we have that expression. Okay, so yan yung ating decision. Therefore the null hypothesis is accepted, or we fail to reject our null hypothesis if the sample mean is less than or equal to this given expression. So take note, no? The we use the posterior distribution to make inferences about our parameter theta. Yan na ngayon. In this case, hypothesis testing. And the H sub 1 will be accepted as true otherwise. So in particular, if you let mu be equal to theta sub 0 exactly, no? The mean mu will be equal to theta sub 0, so that the prior, okay, because our prior distribution is normally distributed with mean mu equal to tau, with mean mu and variance tau square. So if mu is theta sub 0, so the prior, so that the prior to experimentation probability 1/2 is assigned to both the null hypothesis and the alternative hypothesis. Then, considering this case, the null hypothesis will be accepted, or we fail to reject as true if the sample mean would be less than or equal to theta sub 0. Because in this case, no, if we choose mu be equal to theta sub 0, then the second term here sigma square theta minus mu over n tau square will just be equal to 0. That is why we are left with the sample mean less than or equal to theta sub 0. Okay, we have here. And the x sub 1 accepted otherwise. Okay, so this is an example of a Bayesian test. Again, we use the posterior distribution to make inferences about our parameter theta, whether in point estimation or in hypothesis testing. Because in point estimation, if we want to estimate the unknown parameter theta, it's actually the mean of our posterior distribution. That's the point estimate of our unknown parameter theta. But then applying our Bayesian test, so we accept our null. No, we accept our null if and only if this inequality is satisfied. Okay, any questions or clarification?
None so far po.
Okay, let's go now to the third test. We have the union intersection and then the intersection union tests. So let me read also the introductory part of this. In some situations, a test for complicated null hypotheses can be developed from tests for simpler null hypotheses. Take note, kung complicated yung ating null hypothesis, so pwede natin i-develop using the simpler null hypothesis. So we discussed two related methods. The union intersection method of test construction might be useful when the null hypothesis is conveniently expressed as an intersection. Say we have here our null hypothesis that our theta is an element of the intersection of this, number of null parameter spaces, theta sub gamma, where gamma is an element of big gamma, where big gamma is an arbitrary index that may be finite or infinite, okay, depending on the problem. Suppose the tests are available for each of the problem, so we hinati-hati natin yung ating null hypothesis, the intersection man. So we have here H null gamma, where theta is an element of theta sub gamma, versus the alternative hypothesis H1 gamma, where theta is an element of the alternative null, the alternative parameter space rather, or the complement of the null parameter space at theta gamma. So, itong gamma natin na maliit dito, this is an element in our big gamma. So, we could construct a lot of testing problems, simpler problems, testing problems. So, the rejection region for the test, for this particular test, H sub 0, gamma would be the set of all sample point bold x such that our value, the estimate, okay, the estimate of our estimator would be an element of R sub gamma. Then the rejection region of the union intersection test is this. So we take the union of our rejection regions. So sa union intersection, ito, ang union, it refers to the critical region, okay, the rejection region. While for the intersection here, this is finding the intersection, or showing that the null hypothesis can be an intersection of this given number of null hypothesis. Ito. So the rationale is simple. If one of the hypotheses, H sub 0 gamma, is rejected, we reject one of it, Kasi kung i-reject natin yan, so the union, i-take na mo yung union, lahat ng mga rejection region, one is rejected. So kasama dun yung rejection region, then the null hypothesis H of 0, the general null of 0, H of 0, must also be rejected. So only if each of the hypotheses H sub 0 gamma is accepted as true. If it is true, will the intersection H sub 0 be accepted as true? Lahat will be true also. Okay, let's have an example here. Though the example is actually an exercise, I'm giving this as a problem set, but later we'll have a discussion on this union intersection, similar to this union intersection method in our later chapter. Makikita nyo pa rin paano nakuha ito later. Okay, so we have the normal. I just want to illustrate this method, union intersection. In other words, the null hypothesis would be an intersection of two null hypotheses or a number of null hypotheses. And then the rejection region would be the union of all the rejection regions. So normal union intersection test. So we let x sub 1 up to x sub n be a random sample from a normal population or distribution with mean, mu, and the variance sigma square. By the way, just want to emphasize here that in this example, this sigma square is a known. Hindi lang na-specify, it's a known. Okay, it's a known. Usually, if it is a known, we used to estimate this parameter sigma square by the sample variance. Kaya nakikita natin dito, merong lumabas na S dyan. Okay, in that case. So consider testing the null hypothesis, mu is equal to mu sub 0 versus the alternative that mu is not equal to mu sub 0. Looking at our hypothesis, or looking at our two hypotheses, the null hypothesis is a simple null, but we have a two-sided test here. Okay, we have a two-sided test. So we can write our null hypothesis an intersection of the two sets. Because mu is equal to mu sub 0, then we can have this. The set of all mu such that mu is less than or equal to mu sub 0. Intersection, the set of all mu such that mu is greater than or equal to mu sub 0. If we're going to get the intersection of this, then we're able to get that mu is equal to mu sub 0. Okay, so we have two. We have partitioned our null hypothesis into two. So the likelihood ratio test, it says here. So ito ngayon, parang sinabi niya, this is now for H sub 0 L, and this is for our null H sub 0 U. Kasi yun yung ginamit dito. So H sub 0 L would be mu less than or equal to mu sub 0 versus the alternative. So the alternative parameter space would be mu greater than mu sub 0. And then we're going to reject our null hypothesis that mu is less than mu sub 0 in favor of our alternative hypothesis H sub 1L if, if this statistic, the x bar minus mu sub 0 divided by S over square root of n would be greater than or equal to T sub L. So itong T sub L dito could be any positive real number. Right? It could be any positive real number. We can see that in exercise 8.37, but I have said, later we will have a similar example to this. And then similarly, the likelihood ratio test of H sub 0 U, in which the mu is greater than or equal to mu sub 0 versus the alternative h sub 1 u, that mu is less than mu sub 0, then we're going to reject our null hypothesis h sub 0 u in favor of h sub 1 u if this statistic would be less than or equal to 2 t sub u. Again, the t sub u is any positive real number. Yan. So yung ating two-sided test, meron tayong dalawang one-sided tests. Ito yun. The one-sided test. Thus, the union intersection of the two-sided test now, mu equal to mu versus the alternative, is formed from these two likelihood ratio tests. Yes, so we reject if, then we have the union. Now the union of these rejection regions. So ito yung rejection region natin sa first case. This is the second rejection region in the second case. Say we take now the union of that. That's why we have the or. We reject our null if, okay? So kung ma-reject dito sa first, then h of 0 is rejected. Kung ma-reject dito na case, then h of 0 is still rejected. We're going to accept it, o ma-accept lang natin siya if this is true. Otherwise, no? Both, no? End siya. Okay? So we have that for our union intersection test. So if t sub L is equal to the negative of t sub U greater than or equal to 0, non-negative, yeah? Take note, kasama pala, union, sorry, the set of a real number, positive real number, union 0. Okay. Ito rin, set of all real number, union 0. Excuse me. Sorry. Okay, so we have that. Can be, if this is the case, no? If we take t sub L equal to negative t sub U greater than or equal to t sub 0. In other words, para may symmetry, no? So symmetry on our values of t sub L and t sub. So the union intersection can be more simply expressed as this. So it turns out that this union intersection test is also the likelihood ratio test for this problem. You see that in exercise 8.3. Okay, so kanisha considered as a problem set. And then this one, yung one-sided test lang dito, considered as a problem. Is a problem set for that. Okay, what about the intersection union? So sa intersection union, the null hypothesis, theta is an element of the union of this number of null parameter spaces, sigma sub gamma. Gamma is an element of big gamma. Okay? So yan yung ating null hypothesis, it's the union. So if the union of this null parameter spaces, and then if we're going to determine the critical region for that, or the rejection region, then we have here the intersection of the corresponding critical regions of our simpler tests. Yan yung parang yung kaibahan sa intersection union. No? So we have that. Hindi na ako mag-elaborate all the more for that test. So let's proceed now to the second part of this chapter 8, the methods of evaluating tests. So in deciding to accept or reject the null hypothesis, h of 0, an experimenter might be making a mistake. Usually hypothesis tests are evaluated and compared to their probabilities of making mistakes. Okay, yan. So we're going to evaluate the hypothesis test based on their probabilities of making mistakes. So in this section, we discuss how these error probabilities can be controlled, And in some cases, it can even be determined which tests have a smallest possible error probabilities. Okay, so let's consider this subsection, error probabilities and the power function. So we have the hypothesis test that our null, h of 0, we have our theta is an element of the null parameter space, big theta sub 0, versus the alternative, h sub 1, the theta is an element of the alternative parameter space or the complement of the null parameter space. Take note that the union of these two parameter spaces will be the entire parameter space of big theta. So it might make one of the two steps of errors. So these two types of errors traditionally have been given a mnemonic names, type 1 error and then type 2 error. So we have here, if our theta is in the null parameter space, but the hypothesis test incorrectly decides, not theta is in the null parameter space, but the hypothesis test incorrectly decides to reject the null, then the test has made a type 1 error. In other words, a type 1 error is committed when we reject a true null hypothesis. So we have here, no? In our table, we reject a true null hypothesis. They have a true here, the truth of the null hypothesis in this case. Ito, true. And then we reject our true null hypothesis, then we have committed a type 1 error. If on the other hand, if our theta is in the alternative parameter space, okay, in the alternative, but the test decides to accept yung theta nasa alternative parameter space, but we accept the null hypothesis. So a type 2 error has been made, committed. In other words, a type 2 error is committed when we accept a false null hypothesis. So, dito, yung truth ng h sub 1, totoo. So, yung null, obviously, would be false. Kaya, the type 2 error is committed when we accept a false null hypothesis. Okay, so we have here type 2 error. Okay, suppose R now denotes the rejection region for our test. Diba, kung yan yung rejection region natin, titingnan natin kung yung value ng ating statistic, it falls on the rejection region. But if it falls on the rejection region, then we're going to reject our null. Otherwise, we fail to reject our null hypothesis. So then for theta, in the null parameter space, the test will make a mistake if the sample point is an element of the rejection region. Okay, we reject it. No, we reject it because our sample falls on the rejection region, but our theta is in the null parameter space. So we have committed a type 1 error, and so the probability of a type 1 error there is being denoted as this. Ito yung ating probability of a type 1 error. Take note, this is for the case when our theta is in the null parameter space. Kaya ito, no, itong expression na green, ito yon, it's equal to the probability of a type 1 error if theta is an element in the null parameter space. And then the probability of a type 2 error, okay, the probability of a type 2 error, kasi we're going to accept, no? We're going to accept the false null hypothesis. So the probability that our sample is an element of the acceptance region. Kasi yung complement ng R is the acceptance region. We accept a false null hypothesis. So we have committed a type 2 error, and the probability of a type 2 error will be this. Ito yun. The probability of a type 2 error. So thus switching from R to the rejection region to the accepted region is a bit confusing, but if you realize that the probability that uh, the sample is an element of the acceptance region indexed by our theta will be just equal to 1 minus the probability that X is an element of the rejection region. Take note that this probability is a function of theta. Okay? It contains all the information about the test with the rejection region R. So, itong part na to, the probability that X is an element of the rejection region indexed by our parameter theta, it is equal to the probability of a type 1 error if theta is in the null space. But this one, hindi ibig sabihin na type 1 error, probability of type 1 error. But this is still, this expression is 1 minus the probability of a type 2 error. If the type 2, no? If the theta is an element of the alternative parameter space. Ang ibig sabihin dito, it does not mean that the probability of a type 2 error is 1 minus the probability of a type 1 error. Hindi 'yun ang ini-imply dito. Okay? Magkaiba 'yun sila. So this consideration leads to the following. Okay? The following definition for this. Okay? The power function of a hypothesis test with rejection region is a function of theta defined by b theta. So b theta is equal to the probability that our sample is an element of the rejection region indexed by our theta. So ito pala, it is equal to the power function b of theta. Okay? So the ideal power function, ito yung sabi niya, the ideal power function will be 0 for all theta in the null parameter space. In other words, we are making ideal power function, we're making the probability of a type 1 error to be 0 for all theta in the null parameter space. Kaya sabi ko, yung power function equals siya sa probability of a type 1 error. And then it's equal to 1 if our theta here is an element in the alternative parameter space. 1. In other words, yung una, we are making the dito with 0, we are making the probability of a type 1 error to be 0 in this given case. For this case, the theta is an element of the alternative parameter space. We are making the probability of a type 1 error also to be 0. So both, no, both. That's why, kung ito siya 0, so 1 pa rin. 1 minus 0. Dito sa taas, this would be 0. Kung probability of a type 1 error, considering theta is an element in the null parameter space. However, it says here, no, the ideal cannot be attained. The ideal cannot be attained. So, qualitatively, a good test has a power function near, ito rin yung titingnan natin. If the power function is near 1, if theta is an element in the alternative parameter space, and then near 0, if theta is an element in the null parameter space. Titingnan lang natin kung sino mas malapit, no, in this case. So let's have an example to illustrate our definition. We have here the binomial power function. So we let x here binomially distributed with 5 number of trials. So the number of trials is not random, but the probability of success here is equal to theta. So consider testing the theta here, the probability of success theta is less than or equal to 1/2 versus the alternative that theta is greater than 1/2. Take note that our x, random variable x here, denotes the number of successes in our binomial experiment. So consider first the test that rejects our null. We reject our null if and only if all successes are observed, rejecting the null. So the power function for this test would be this. It says here, reject, no? Reject our null. Take note sa muna, no? Ito yung null natin. The theta is less than or equal to 1/2. We have a composite null hypothesis. And we have a one-sided test, no? In this case. So we reject our null if and only if all successes are observed. Rejection of our null. So the power function for this test would be, ito yun. Okay, we have b sub 1 of theta. Okay, b sub 1 of theta will be equal to the probability that x is an element of the rejection region. We reject, ang sabi man kasi dito, we reject our null if and only if all successes are observed. So that means that we reject. Okay, ano? That's why we reject our null if and only if all successes are observed. So this x is an element of the rejection region. We know that x is the number of successes. So all successes are observed. So x is equal to 5. And then if we're going to evaluate this, we have a combination of 5, taken 5, the probability of success, theta raised to 5, the probability of failure, 1 minus theta, 5 minus 5. So the answer will just be equal to theta over 5. Yan yung result natin, no? That's ito yung ating power function, b sub 1 of theta. Okay, yan naman yung ating definition dito sa b theta is the probability that our x here, no? Here is an element of the rejection region. So we reject the null if all successes are observed. Kaya ito, probability that x equals 5. So that's our power function. And then the graph of the power function we have here, nasa baba. Pwede naman natin for a particular theta, we can compute for beta sub 1 theta here. Say for theta is equal to 0.2, we have this value 0.00032. We have 0.25, we have this value 0.00098. 0.4, arbitrary lang tayo na, nagpa na tayo. 0.01074. 0.5, okay, we have 0.031. 0.6, we have 0.08, 0.75, we have 0.24, 0.8, we have here 0.32, and then 0.9, we have here 0.6. So kunyari sa 0.5 tayo, that is 0.031. Eh ito 0.1 man ito. 0.1. So at 0.5 ito 'yon. Dito siya. Ayan. This value here is 0.031. When we have x, na our theta is equal to 0.5. So yan yung graph ng ating power function. Okay, that's our power function. Take note, no? Take note. Etong power function natin na b sub 1 of theta, for this, kung yung theta natin is less than or equal to 1/2, etong part, 0.5 below. Kasali na dyan yung 0.1, 0.01. No? Kasali na dyan. Lahat-lahat ng mga values natin. For theta here, in this case, no? Ito, lagyan natin ng blue. In this case, we hear our theta. Theta is less than or equal to 1/2. So yung B sub 1 of theta refers to, ito yung mga B sub 1 theta here, it refers to the probability, okay? It refers to the probability of a type 1 error. Yan yung masabi dito, no? When theta here is an element in the null parameter space. Yung null parameter space natin, ito naman. So yung B sub 1 of theta equals siya the probability of a type 1 error. Pero, greater than 0.5, eto. So for greater than 0.5. So yung theta natin dito, nasa alternative parameter space na siya. So kung nasa alternative parameter space na siya, ito ngayon, this would be equal to what? Yung power function natin na beta sub 1 of theta will be equal to what? It will be equal to 1 minus the probability of a type 2 error. Nasa alternative parameter space na tayo. Kaya ito ngayon, no? So yung beta of theta, ito, in this case, it's 1 minus the probability of a type 2 error. So yan yung graph ng ating power function. So the graph of beta sub 1 theta is in figure 8.3.1. So in examining, no? In examining this power function, we might decide, although that the probability of a type 1 error is acceptably low, so beta sub 1 of theta is less than or equal to 0.1/2, that is 0.0312 for all theta that is less than or equal to 1/2. Siguro dito na lang sulat yun, no? Para mas maintindihan. So the implication for that, yung probability, no, the probability of a type 1 error. Kung titingnan natin, di ba? The probability of a type 1 error is low. Okay? Kaya yung blue. Yung sa blue natin, no? Yung sa, kung titingnan mo yung value dito, ito. Yan. Nasa probability is low. When do we have? When our theta here is an element of the null parameter space. Or in other words, theta here is less than or equal to 100. Low. Makikita niyo na low siya na part. So in other words, yung ating power function na beta sub 1 of theta yung power function natin na beta sub 1 of theta, given that theta is less than or equal to 1/2, it would be less than or equal to beta sub 1 of 1/2. Diba? Kasi theta is less than or equal to 1/2 on our null parameter space. Pero ano yung beta sub 1 of 1/2? So that is equal to theta to the 5. So 1/2 to the 5. And that is equal to 0.0312. Kaya yung ating power function, beta sub 1 of theta, is less than or equal siya sa 0.0312 when theta is less than or equal to 1/2. So maliit yung ating probability of a type 1 error. It's near zero. Yan naman gusto natin, di ba? It's near zero. Mas maliit. Kung titingnan natin yung 0.0312, it's almost zero. Maliit. But what about yung probability of a type 2 error? Kasi titingnan mo natin. We want our probability of a type 1 error is near zero. We want our probability of a type 2 error to be near 1. To be near 1. Or rather, to be the probability of type 2 error would be near 0 again, so that the power function on the alternative parameter space would be near 1. Yan yung sabi. So, titingnan natin dito sa case. So, kung yung probability, what's the probability of a type 2 error? The type 2 error is high, actually. So, titingnan natin. This is high when we consider that our theta here is an element greater than na lang, diretso na lang tayo, is high when our theta here is greater than 1/2. Ito ngayon yan. Ito na case. Magbigay lang tayo ng a particular example. Say, in particular, paano natin malalaman na malaki yung ating probability of a type 2 error? So, in particular, if we let theta here, theta greater than 1/2, say theta here is equal to 0.7. Kasi 1/2 is 0.5 man. So, theta is 0.7. So, yun na yung probability of a type 2 error. So, yung probability of a type 2 error would be equal to 1 minus the power function beta sub 1 of 0.7. Okay? Again, no? Ito pa rin yun. The probability of a type 2 error would be equal to beta minus man yan, 1 minus. So, tama, 1 minus beta sub 1 of 0.7. So, in this case, we have here 1 minus, ano yung beta sub 1 of 0.7? So, 0.7 raised to 5. Kasi ito yung ating power function. And if we're going to look at it, this is equal to 1 minus 0.17, and we have here 0.83. Okay? We have here 0.83. So, the probability of a type 2 error is high when our theta is in the alternative parameter space. It's high, yung probability of a type 2 error. Malaki masyado. We have here small. We have a small probability of a type 1 error, but we have a probability of a type 2 error quite high. Dapat maliit din sana yung probability of a type 2 error, making the power function in this case, no, making the power function should be near 1. Pero in that case, 0.17 siya. Okay, so in that case, no, so paano gawin yan? In order to achieve a smaller type 2 error probabilities. Kasi kung pagpipilian natin yung ating ano yung test na dapat natin ipipiliin, dapat maliit yung probability of a type 1 error, maliit din yung probability of a type 2 error. So, to achieve a smaller type 2 error probabilities, kasi malaki masyado yung probability of a type 2 error, so we might consider using the test that rejects the null hypothesis if the number of successes is 3, 4, 3, 4, or 5. The union of that. Lahat sila. No? The power function for this test, okay, we have here, so pangalan natin na beta sub 2 of theta. So it's the probability that x equals 3, 4, or 5. Okay, so we have here, since this is a binomial, having a binomial distribution yung x natin, so we have that would be Combination of 5 taken 3, probability of success raised to 3, probability of failure raised to 5 minus 3, so we have 2, so on and so forth for the second and the third. So the graph of B sub 2 is also in figure 8.3.5. Hindi na ako magbibigay ng mga points diyan. Pwede na kayo na magbigay ng mga points for theta, no? Bigay kayo ng points for theta here, compute all of that. Kung meron kayong R, pwede nyo yan kung alam nyo sa R, pwede nyo yan lagyan ng program, then you have that graph now for the power function B sub 2 of theta. So, power 2 best again. Okay, so titingnan na lang natin yung graph comparing the power function of the two tests. So dito, this is in the case. This is in the case when theta here. Oh, sorry. This is in the case that theta here is less than or equal to 1/2. So when theta is less than or equal to 1/2, that means that our theta is in the null parameter space. Kung titingnan natin yung first test natin sa beta sub 1, maliit yung kanyang probability of a type 1 error. Yeah, probability ito. Probability of a type 1 error yan. Yung beta sub 1 of theta kasi theta is in the null parameter space. Pero sa beta sub 2, considering beta sub 2, mas malaki yung kanyang, we have a larger, considering this, no? Point. We have a larger or a bigger probability of a type 1 error. Pero, kung titingnan natin sa alternative, dito sa alternative parameter space, yung beta sub 1 dito, hindi yan yung probability of a type 2 error. Ibig sabihin ngayon, yung probability of a type 2 error for beta sub 1 here, it is larger compared to the probability of the type 2 error for the second test. Take note, hindi ito yung probability of a type 1 error kasi nasa alternative, yung beta sub 1 is 1 minus the probability. Kaya kung maliit itong beta sub 1 of theta on this alternative parameter space, malaki yung ating probability of a type 2 error. Kaya itong sabi niya. Pero sa beta sub 2, smaller. Okay, so yan ang sabi niya ngayon. But the type 2 error probability is larger for the second test. Beta sub 2 is larger. If a choice is to be made, it says here, if you are the experimenter, if a choice is to be made, maliit yung aking probability sa type 1 error sa beta sub 1, pero malaki yung probability of a type 2 error. Yung sa beta sub 2, hindi masyadong maliit yung aking probability of a type 1 error, pero hindi naman masyadong malaki yung probability of a type 2 error. So, paano mo saan ka magde-decide? So if a choice is to be made between these two tests here, between these two tests, the researcher must decide which error structure that described by beta sub 1 or that's described by beta sub 2 is more acceptable. So depende sa kanya sa regarding sa iyang study. Ano yun? Which of the two is more acceptable. So we cannot decide for this two. Okay, let's have another example. 8.3.3, we have the normal power function. Any questions or clarifications muna? I hope na illustrate natin mabuti yung ating power function by this first example. Kung ikaw yung experimenter, ikaw yung magde-decide kung ano yung gagamitin mo na test. For the first example, kung gusto mo ba yung maliit masyado yung ating probability of a type 1 error, pero mas malaki yung probability of a type 2 error. Or, hindi masyadong maliit yung ating probability of a type 1 error, hindi rin masyadong malaki yung probability of a type 2 error.
Sir. Sir,
Yes,
kung in-ana ang decision making, sir, kung sa di ay ang mas crucial, sir, nga ma-commit nga error, type 1 or type 2?
ang usual makamit
Mas crucial, sir, kanang mas dakog effective anang ma-violate or ma-commit na error.
Actually, it depends, no? It depends. Pero usually, no, ang ginagawa natin, we fixed. Yan yung ginagawa usually natin, no? We are going to fix our probability of committing a type 1 error. So, para mag-set tayo ng maximum probability. That's what we call actually the level of significance. We set this, itong test dapat ito yung ating set na maximum na probability of committing error. So if this is the set na set natin na probability of committing error, that's the level of significance. Hahanapin na lang natin ngayon sa test sino yung mas maliit na probability of a type 2 error. Ganun yun. Later, you will understand more clearly if we have some more examples. Okay, let us proceed to example 8.3.3. We have normal power function. Let x sub 1 up to x sub n be a random sample from a normal population with mean theta and the variance sigma square. And then sigma square here is known. Okay, sigma square is known. Yung sa ating union intersection test, the assumption there is that sigma square is unknown. Kaya we use the sample variance S. You can go back there. But in this example now, we have here, kasi yung sa union intersection, meron tayong dalawang one-sided test doon. Then we have the rejection region would be the union of the rejection regions. Etong case na to, we just consider a single or a one-sided test. But our population variance is known. Sabi no? No. So let x sub 1, an LRT, likelihood ratio test of the null hypothesis that theta is less than or equal to theta sub 0. So we have specified a mean yung versus the alternative that theta is greater than theta sub 0. Is a test that rejects the null. Okay, ito ngayon. We reject a null if this is true. It's just actually an exercise, C in exercise 8.37. Yan yung nasa like sa natin sa union intersection. So the constant C can be any positive number. No? Yung solution ko dito ngayon is actually an answer to exercise 8.37. When we have this null hypothesis, yung sa kabila naman, pwede mo naman, yun na siguro yung ibibigay ko na problem. Yung sa pangalawa, yung H sub 0 U. So, you will have a hint on how to solve it here. Say note. Okay, we have note that the X bar here, this is the unrestricted. We call this the unrestricted maximum likelihood estimate. Estimate ito, no? Of our parameter theta, not the estimator, because small ito. While yung theta sub 0, obviously, would be the restricted. It's the restricted maximum likelihood estimate of our parameter theta. Okay? Take note, no? That the mean would be less than or equal to. So kung ang ating random sample, ito yung random sample natin. Ito yung mean, theta. So, for all theta, ayan yung theta dapat na suppose. Ito yung mean, sabihin natin. This is the mean. And then if we have here, theta sub 0. Kasi ito yung mean. Actually, this is an estimate. No? This should be the estimate. Ito yung unknown parameter mean. So for all theta less than or equal to theta sub 0. So ito ngayon, kinonsider natin itong case na to. Ito yung ating alternate null parameter space. So ma-maximize lang siya when we have theta equal to theta sub 0. Itong part na to. Yeah, theta sub 0. That's the unrestricted maximum likelihood estimate. So now, if we're going to compute for the likelihood ratio test statistic, lambda of x, ano nga yun? Is the supremum of all the likelihood functions. Sa numerator tayo ha, over the null parameter space. Yung sa null parameter space natin, yung restricted MLE is theta sub 0. So ito yung kanyang supremum, 2 pi sigma square raised to negative n over 2. We have here the exponential of what? The negative summation of x sub I minus theta sub 0 quantity square divided by 2 sigma square. Okay? Because the restricted MLE is theta sub 0. Over all the entire parameter space, kung titingnan natin yung graph natin, over all the entire parameter space, ito, green, lahat yan. Saan siya ma-maximize, di ba? Sa mean, x bar. Ito pala yung x bar, sorry, no? This is for the mean, we have here the x bar. The unrestricted, the mean of that. So, ang theta natin pwede maximize at the mean. So, we have now 2 sigma square. Tingnan natin ang kanyang likelihood function, the exponential, the negative, x sub I minus x bar. Actually, dito kasi sa book, diretso na siya sa power function. Paano natin muna makuha ito? Itong part na to. Ayan. So, x bar quantity square divided by 2 sigma square. So, this one will cancel out. And then, this would further equal to the exponential of negative n times x bar minus theta sub 0 quantity square plus n minus 1 quantity s square over 2 sigma square divided by. Okay, so divided by the exponential function of negative n minus 1 s square divided by 2 sigma square. Anong ginamit natin dyan? Alam natin na itong s square is equal to 1 over n minus 1, the summation of xi minus x bar quantity square. Okay, ito yun. No? Ayan. Ito. So that would be equal to n times, o kaya ito na ngayon. Okay, sa denominator tayo. What about sa numerator? Yung sa numerator, gamit tayo ng green, no? Para summation of xi minus theta sub 0. Yan yung sa numerator natin. Square. It will be equal to the summation of xi minus x bar plus x bar minus theta sub 0. And we square that. Expand mo yan, dot, then we have there the result. Oh, what happened? N minus 1, sample variance plus n. Dot lang. You just verify this. X bar minus theta sub 0 quantity square. Okay, so yan yung results. Ito, makikita yan sa itaas, no? And then simplifying. So mag-cancel ito. Itong part na to. At saka ito. And then what remains? We have here the exponential function of negative n x bar minus theta sub 0 quantity square over 2 sigma square. Ayan. Di ba? So, kung hanapin natin yung rejection region, kasi yung sabi dyan, rejects the null if that is true. So, rejection region, if lambda of x is less than c in that case. So, if and only if, okay, ano yung statistic natin? So, exponential. So, we have the exponential, negative n, x bar minus theta sub 0 quantity square over 2 sigma square. Less than c. So, we have negative n, x bar minus theta sub 0 square over 2 sigma square. We have the log of c. Okay? The log of c. And then after that, we have here x bar minus theta sub 0 quantity square divided by sigma square over n. Okay? Would be equal to, it would be greater than, okay? It would be greater than negative 2 log of c. So all the more, we have here x bar minus theta sub 0 over sigma over square root of n would be greater than the positive negative 2 log of c. We consider the positive square root since, okay, the x bar minus theta sub 0 would be greater than 0. Yan yung ating kan, di ba? X bar minus would be greater than 0 for that case. Dito makita natin, no? Itong x bar, blue na lang. Itong case na to. Yung medyo nawala na kasi yung orange. Okay. When x bar is greater than, no? Pwede naman kabaliktad yan, no? Or x bar would be greater than theta sub 0. Yeah, theta sub 0 is less than x bar. So that's. Therefore, okay, see, blue na lang yung gagamitin ko. Now, we reject our null hypothesis if, what do we have? Based on our statistic now. So, x bar minus theta sub 0 divided by sigma over square root of n to be greater than k. Where k here is any real number. Positive real number. Ito ngayon yung k dito sa atin ginamit niya yung C. Ito, no? Ginamit niya yung C. Pero kasi dito sa likelihood ratio test, ito man yung C na ginamit natin. So itong C dito is not necessarily yung C natin makikita sa ating, itong part na to ha, itong C na to dito. Itong C na to, hindi yung C sa ating likelihood ratio test statistic. This is actually C, itong C na to is actually the value square root of -2. Log of C, parang ito. Pero C lang yung nilagay niya. It's just a constant. Naintindihan niyo ba?
Yes, sir.
Baka kasi yung C dyan, yung inakala nyo yan yung sa likelihood ratio test statistic na yung condition ng C. Ito yung C dito, parang ito yun siya. Oops. Erase pala yung nagkuhan ko. X bar. Since X bar minus theta sub 0 is greater. Erase ko lang to, part na yan. So yung K, dapat K siya para hindi tayo malito. K yung ginamit ko. Pero dito sa book, C yung ginamit niya. Okay, so we have that. So ano yung ating power function now? It says here now, the power function of this test is, kasi rejection region tayo, di ba? Equal ito, gawa tayo ng another, equal ito sa the probability index that our X here is an element of the rejection region, R. Our sample X is an element of the rejection region. So ano yung, we reject our null if this is true. Ito yun naman. Kaya pinalitan natin yan. Ng ganun. It's by our definition. And then, erase. Oh. Ano nga yan? Square root of n. Ito dito na part, we add a theta here, and we also subtract theta. So that is una pala yung subtract. So we subtract theta, so parang ito, x bar minus theta, and then plus theta minus theta sub 0. Ito pa rin yung nakukuha natin yung part. Okay, so the same denominator, we can transpose it on the other side of our inequality. Kaya ito yung nakuha natin. Okay, yan, part na yan. We are actually standardizing our sample mean. So we have here Z. Okay, so plus C equal plus that. So Z is the standard normal random variable. Since we have here, as theta increases from negative infinity to positive infinity, it is easy to see that this normal probability increases from 0 to 1. Klaro naman, no? Kung ito yung graph ng ating normal distribution from 0, okay, from yung ating probability referring to, no, it refers to the area of the shaded region. Ito, increasing. Yan, yung shaded region dyan, mas maliit. Mag-add naman tayo, increasing. So, papalaki siya, no? Yung probability increases from 0 to 1. That's your probability. It increases hanggang sa, from infinity to the negative infinity. Ito, negative infinity to positive infinity. So your probability will increase because the probability refers to the area of the shaded region of that. So this follows that beta of theta, the power function, is an increasing function of theta with, if we're going to look at the limit of beta of theta as theta approaches to negative infinity, that would be 0. The limit of beta of theta as theta approaches to infinity would be equal to 1. And then we have the beta of theta sub 0 will be equal to 1 to alpha if we let the probability that z is greater than this c. Itong c na to, we call this as the critical point. So ito ngayon yung c natin. Ito ngayon yung c, small c. Parang sinasabing natin is the upper percentile point of the normal distribution. Yung c, it's actually referring to z sub alpha. Ito siya. The usual, kung alam nyo, this refers to the z alpha. Okay? Because this area here is equal to alpha. The probability that z, random variable z, greater than c, will be equal to alpha. Diba yung c natin, yung usual notation natin na alam, that is just the z sub alpha. Z sub alpha. So the graph of beta of theta, if we choose our c, ito yung c natin, 1.28, it is given in figure 8.3.2. Ito ngayon. If we choose our c. Okay, so typically the power function of the test will depend on the sample size. Kung titingnan natin dito, itong part na to, it depends on the sample size kasi may n dito. So the power function of a test will depend on the sample size n. If n can be chosen by the experimenter, consider the power function might help determine what sample size is appropriate in a given experiment. So pwede natin i-identify yung ating power function para malalaman natin kung ano yung sample size na gagamitin. Let's have an example here. Okay lang ba sa inyo? Tapusin ko na lang itong example na to. It's at 2.258. Okay, suppose the experimenter wishes to have a maximum type 1 error probability of 0.1. The usual, itong maximum type 1 probability, ito yung tinatawag natin na level of significance or significance level. It's the maximum probability of committing a type 1 error. Yung ina-allow natin for our test. Say it's 0.1. So alpha is equal to 0.1. So suppose in addition that the experimenter wishes to have a maximum. Dapat maliit yung ating probability of a type 1 error. Dapat maliit din sana yung ating type 2 error. So mag-set tayo ng type 2 error probability of 0.2 if with this condition that theta, that's the mean, no? Would be greater than or equal to theta sub 0 plus sigma. So we now show how to choose c and n to achieve these goals. What should be our c and what should be our n to achieve this goal now? That the maximum type 1 probability is 0.1 and the maximum type 2 error probability is 0.2. So using the test that rejects, ito yung kanina na example natin for a one-sided test. Okay, so here, the null hypothesis that theta, the mean, the parameter theta is less than or equal to theta sub 0. And this is our rejection region as in the previous example. Nakita naman natin yan. So as noted above, the power function of such test is equal to this. Yung above, no? Ito yung power function, beta of theta. Okay, so we have that c. So the beta of theta is increasing. It is increasing in theta. So the requirements will be met. Okay, the requirements will be met if the probability of a type 1 error. But ito yung probability of a type 1 error ito. Beta of theta sub 0. So the probability of a type 1 error, this is in the case, okay, kung yung theta is in the element of the null parameter space less than or equal to theta sub 0. Point 1, yan ang probability of a type 1 error. So, yung power function na beta theta sub 0 plus, ano yung sinet natin na probability of a type 2 error? Di ba? 0.2? So, itong power function natin, because this one, theta sub 0 plus sigma, obviously, it's greater than theta sub 0. Di ba? Yung theta sub 0 plus sigma, this is an element in the alternative parameter space. Di ba ano yung alternative parameter space natin? Di ba? Yung theta sub 0 greater than siya sa 1/2. So mag-plus ka pa ng sigma. So nasa alternative parameter space siya. So yung power function natin is actually equal to the probability of a type 2 error. That's the probability of a type 2 error. Pero nag-set tayo na ang probability ng type 2 error is 0.2. Pero ito actually, klaro ito na probability of a type 1 error ito. Based on our definition, no? Because theta is in the null parameter space. So yung power function natin, beta of theta sub 0 plus sigma will be equal to 0.8. The difference of this is equal to 0.8. Okay, so kung titingnan natin, if we choose our C to be equal to 1.28, so what should be our N that would satisfy this condition? Ano dapat yung number of samples, no? Sample size natin. So beta sub 0, it says here, beta of theta sub 0, this is equal to the probability that Z is greater than or equal to 1.28, greater than exactly pala, greater than to. 1.28 plus, okay, plus sigma sub 0 minus sigma theta sub 0, theta sub 0, sigma over square root of n. So this term will just be equal to 0. So yung probability that Z is greater than 1 minus the probability. Alam naman niyo paano i-compute ito. 1.28. Okay, using the table, we can have this value 0.1. Okay, so that's a condition. What about sa second? Yung ito, yung hahanapin kasi natin yung ating N. If we set C. So this is equal to the probability that Z is greater than 1.28 plus theta sub 0, okay, minus theta sub 0 plus sigma over sigma over square root of n. Okay, so theta sub 0 minus theta sub 0, that would be 0 minus sigma square. Sigma lang pala yan. Cancel yan. Okay, so yung maiiwan na lang square root of n. Or nasa denominator yung fraction, it will just be equal to the probability that Z greater than 1.28 plus, or rather minus 1 kasi yan, square root of n. And we know that this is equal to 0.8 by our condition. Yan, compute natin sa baba. So computing it, 0.8. That's why we have here. Okay, so if we set 1.28 square root of n, and then the probability, say this 1.28 here, will be this 0.84. Okay, we set that 1.28 minus equal to 0.8, negative 0.84, so equal to 0.8. Looking at our table ito, no? Sa 0.8 natin, so that is 0.84. So our n here, ayan, will yield, no? The n value will yield. Supposedly, ito yung value ng n, 4.49. But n is an integer, so we choose n to be equal to 5. So itong case na to, yung continuation natin, nag-set tayo ng maximum probability of a type 1 error, the level of significance alpha, and we also set the maximum probability of a type 2 error. Small, almost near zero. Kasi yung isa 0.1, ang isa 0.2. And this time, we want to determine the number, no? The sample size that we're going to consider if we have these restrictions. So for a fixed sample size, it is usually impossible to make both types of error probability arbitrarily small. It's impossible. It's impossible. In searching for a good test, it is common to restrict consideration. Ito ngayon, no? Ano yun? Maghanap ka ng good test. So mag-consider lang tayo ng test that will control. I-control natin yung type 1 error probability at a specified level. That's why we set our alpha, set our level alpha be equal to this. And then within this class of test, then we're going to search for the test that have a type 2 error probability that is small as possible. So, okay, I'm going to continue this next meeting. The definition for that, no? The size alpha test, and then the level alpha test. Okay, so the time is already 3:07. Lumampas ako ng 7 minutes. Do you have any questions or clarifications?
None, sir. Wala na po.
Okay. So I'm going to stop now the recording.
Hello.